Laurel Lanes, Plainville, the site of our NEBA event. Semifinal number 1 about to begin. Let's introduce our combatants. Matt Brockett from Old Saybrook will be matched up against Tom Coco Jr. You see Brockett on the left of your screen, and that is Coco on the right. And it looks like Matt Brockett, Don Harger, will be first up.
Absolutely. Both bowlers are using Storm equipment for this match right here. A couple of different bowling balls, but the same manufacturer.
And do we have different styles as we see one Brockett in the yellow here, the righty, Thomas Coco, the lefty?
You know, when you make it to this level, you better have a lot of different styles and different releases just to bowl well in a lot of different conditions.
Brockett starts things off with a strike.
Very nice shot by Matt. We had a little time before he was able to go from his practice shot to the first shot opening the match, and that's always difficult. And he did everything right on that shot, tickled the head pin, made sure that he got the carry that he needed, and we are underway.
Not only is this a matchup of lefty versus righty, it's New York against Connecticut. Thomas Coco out of Cortland Manor, New York, a former Westchester Bowler of the Year at the high school level. His .229 average has gotten him to this semifinal today. Coming way far out, bringing it back in with that angle and taking care of business.
Great shot for Tom, starting off the match as well. You see the difference here now. The righty, Matt Brockett, he's more in the middle of the lane, and Tom is able to go all the way to the very edge and use that angle to his advantage. Most of the time that's created because there are so many far more right-handed bowlers than there are left-handed bowlers. And the righties tend to dry that up pretty quickly, and the ball starts hooking a little too early, too much. So the righties tend to go towards the middle of the lane, try to find more oil, where the lefties can pretty much stay out there until their shot disappears.
And in bowling, you want to be a creature of habit, I would imagine.
You definitely make better shots once you repeat them.
Coco's second frame, just like the first.
Yeah, Tom got away with that one a little bit. He let that ball down a little bit early. I actually heard a little bit of a double bounce, but he was able to keep the fingers in long enough, roll it good with the fingers. And again, that extreme angle from outside, when you're coming in like that, you hit the head pin and you tend to get pretty good carry.
So 2 frames in for Coco. And here's Brockett, 24-year-old out of Old Saybrook, the 2008 Rookie of the Year for NEBA, and a 2-time NEBA champion.
Just a solid bowler all the way through.
And he just didn't get enough kick to get that 7-pin to drop.
You know, when he goes into the middle of the lane, he has to create the snap by the way that he rolls the ball. So he has to make sure the thumb comes out, he rolls it good with his fingers, and he's using maybe a ball that actually hooks a lot in the back end. Well, we noticed that ball, as it was going into the pocket, it really turned up and went dead left, went a hair high, and that's how he left the solid 4-pin. Pretty easy spare to make, but kind of a bad break.
And he takes care of that 4-pin and picks up the spare. So a strike and a spare through 2 frames for Matt Brockett.
Now you notice when he threw that ball at the spare, it didn't hook so much in the back end. That's because he kind of had an 11 o'clock roll. Rolled it a little bit more over end. When he's going for the first ball and he's in the middle of the lane, he wants to create that angle as it goes in the pocket. So he basically just points his index finger a little bit more towards the pins to get that 10 o'clock roll, and that'll give you maximum hitting power. But in that last case right there, he came a little bit high, he left the 4-pin.
And the 10.
And that was all about footwork. You saw as he let the ball go, he looked down at the floor. I think his feet got a little bit fast, a little bit out of time. That's all it takes to kind of get the ball to hit weakly in the pocket. Left the 10-pin.
And I noticed going with 2 different balls, to pick up the spare, a different ball than the initial ball to try and get the strike. What's the
usually
reason?
10 pins, you go for the plastic ball, so it's not going to hook at all. He's wherever he puts it, it's going to stay.
And it stayed right at it. Picked up a second straight spare. Brockett at 49 plus through 3 frames. Here is Tom Coco. 229 average. He is a chef during the week. Works at a home for assisted living. I'm sure they eat quite well with Tom as their chef. A lot of power in that 3 straight.
That's a great shot by Tom. You noticed as he puts his fingers in the ball, he actually curls and tucks his pinky under. And what that does, it allows him to get a couple of more revolutions on the ball. And he has a really explosive release, very strong release. When you combine that strong release with the angle that he's playing, it's going to be very tough to beat.
Well, he starts off with a turkey and is rolling 60 plus through 3.
Well, if he's a chef, he knows about turkey, I guess, right?
I get it. Almost that time of year, too. And again, that power from that angle. And that is 4 straight.
That is a recipe for carry right there.
Oh, a chef with a recipe. And I'm the one that gets criticized for being corny. But no, he seems to have found that groove.
You definitely want to lock in really early, put a little pressure on your opponent, make him think a little bit more.
Brockett got the 10, little nudge, helped out.
That's a great shot. And again, you see the difference in pin carry when you have to play the middle of the lane as opposed to the far extreme corner of the lane. The angle that you get from playing near the gutter, when it comes in, it just hits so much stronger. When you play the middle of the lane, you lose that power. But because of the way the lanes are oiled, people usually have to tend to kind of migrate and try to catch more oil in the middle. He was able to snap that 10 pin out, which was very important. The key to this, when he moves inside, is he has to keep his body low. If he stands up at all or if he jerks up a little bit, he's going to leave that corner pin. If he stays low with that shot, he should snap the 10 pin out.
5th frame here now for Brockett. And the 10 goes forward and falls.
So he doesn't even know. He just realized he got the break. It was a great shot, kind of a deflator when you're looking at that 10 pin, but something came out and knocked it over, and he actually reaped the rewards there. It was a good shot.
Could have been a stiff breeze. It's rare, really, for the pins to fall forward like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. He's playing a very non-aggressive line. You see the ball's not hitting very hard, so it's going to be tougher for Matt. He's going to have to stay low and make really good shots.
Take a look at it again.
So again, he's nice and low. He stayed low. Everything perfect on the ball. And the 6 pin just gets it out.
Wow, I didn't see how. And that one, very similar, and 5 straight for Tom Coco.
That's actually a big break for Tom. He got slow on that shot. He stood up a little bit, and the ball checked up, meaning it started to hook earlier. And when you're playing that far extreme angle, it's disastrous when you make a bad shot. And he just got away with tripping some pins, getting a strike, but he doesn't want to do that again.
Well, sometimes it does pay to be a little lucky rather than good all the time.
Absolutely.
And 5 straight, as you see, to open this match for Thomas Coco. Is he starting to put pressure on Matt Brockett.
The thing he doesn't want to do is relax right here. Playing this extreme outside angle, he's got to stay aggressive.
And that time, the 6 just wouldn't fall.
That shot actually got left of target. And if you can imagine getting left of target when you're playing the third board, there's not much room out there. It hit something. It hit a board with a little bit of oil on it, and it hung, and it didn't hook. You're going to see this shot right here. I don't know whether he drifted right a little bit or he just became a little bit too aggressive, but the ball got left of target right there, and it had so much room to come back. It wasn't able to make it back. He left himself an easy 3-pin spare, though.
Well, his first spare comes in the 6th frame, 149 plus for Coco through 6, 89 plus through 5 for Matt Brockett.
Yeah, this is a very challenging bowling center and a challenging shot right here. The shot giveth and the shot taketh away. You could put the ball in the pocket 10 times, and sometimes you get different reactions, and it's a little puzzling, and it really adds to the mental part of this game. You really got to stay aware of what you're doing, how the ball's reacting, and make those adjustments.
Here's an opening for Brockett.
Chink in the armor.
Working on 2 straight. He got saved from the split.
You know, Matt's got a really tough line. He's playing the inside. He's got to stay aggressive because he wants that snap in the back. You got to keep your speed up. But throughout this tournament, if you missed your target right, it hung and it didn't come back for righties. For lefties, as we saw what Tom did, if you miss outside, it just didn't come back. So it's kind of a fine line, trying to be careful.
And picking up the spare is Matt Brockett.
I was told earlier this afternoon that Tony Provenzano has the house record here at Laurel Lanes, 856. That's phenomenal bowling, but there have been higher scores in different bowling centers. So I think the characteristics of this bowling center, it's not easy. It's not a gimme shot.
Like a baseball ballpark. Some are better for home run hitters than others.
Exactly.
Brockett in the 7th. Got him to go.
Very good shot again. Matt stays down on every shot, maximizing his carry potential. Really difficult line, playing a little bit straighter like this. He doesn't have that advantage of that big angle coming in, making good shots.
Brockett at 138 plus in the 7th frame.
Tom Coco's definitely in the driver's seat, though. That ball went over the 3rd arrow, got out to about the maybe 12th, 13th board, came back, but had a lot of energy when it hit the pins. That causes the pins to kind of go back and forth like that.
So when you're going in, out, and back in, that's much different than starting out and coming in strong.
Exactly.
And that is certainly strong in the pocket for Tom Coco.
So Tom's game right here is just all about timing. If he doesn't get too fast or doesn't get too slow, his ball's going to be right there, maximized striking potential because of that angle. Matt's got a lot more variables to have to control.
He's up 31 pins into the 7th frame.
Hitting about the 7th board from the left-hand side, getting out to about the 4th, and it just sets up. And there's the big angle. The ball doesn't deflect that much when it's coming in on that angle.
Just drives right through.
Exactly.
Now on the left lane is Coco. Got a little late kick to pick up the strike.
Again, he got that ball down early. He actually dumped the ball into the lane, but because of that extreme angle and the way he was able to keep the fingers in the ball and roll it, he did make it all the way back to his pocket, and that angle helped him get that strike. If he plays the middle of the lane and throws the ball like that, he does not strike.
Now, is that has happened twice on lane 37, the left hand of the two lanes that we are using in this semifinal. Does it have anything to do with being a lefty on that side as opposed to the inside lane?
For that particular thing to happen, I think it's more about the bowler and not the lane.
Here's Matt Brockett. Starting the 8th frame. And a very big break as the 10 finally dropped.
Matt didn't catch this ball on the bottom. He basically rolled it dead straight like at a spare. The ball never had that roll, that 10 o'clock roll, to come out, make it hit the dry and then come all the way back. It just kind of rolled straight. He got away with a break carrying the 10 pin, or else we would have had a washout. He just didn't catch it on the bottom.
And what happened there?
That's a bad break. You know, you go up, it's an easy spare to make, so you don't really bear down and concentrate so much. And you make your adjustment. You don't stay down with the shot. You just throw the ball, and it's more of an expected spare, and then you kind of just leave the door open on it.
And as he left the door, as he just invited Tom Coco to come into the house and do what he wants?
I think if Matt has any chance to winning this match, he's got to strike out.
An open frame for Matt Brockett in the 8th. And the 10 went over that time.
That's a perfect shot right there. I'm sure he's just upset at himself for just a lapse in concentration. About the 16th board at the arrows, out to about 12. Good roll, good results.
Brockett at 166 into the 9th frame, and at 189 is Thomas Coco.
He just has to stay out of trouble here.
Well, the 6 is that the 6 or the 9?
That is the 6 pin.
So the 6 stands up. And he just needs to pick that up.
Yeah, so a little bit slow. Ball came in on a little bit too much of an angle, a little bit high. You lift the 6 pin. If we remember, Matt did the same thing on the 2nd frame. He left the 4 pin for the righty, same thing.
That sharp angle picks up the 6 and conceded.
You know, so we were talking earlier today, and because it's head-to-head, you don't always have to have your foot on the pedal. If your opponent makes a mistake, you can just maybe not necessarily try new things that are going to be dangerous to your game, but stay out of trouble, throw the ball in the pocket. If you get 8 or 9, make your spare, stay clean, and that's kind of where Tom is right now.
Well, he leaves 2 for the first time in this match.
That's exactly what I was talking about right there, a very safe shot. He didn't really hit it down at the bottom. He didn't want it to go through the nose.
And Brockett finishing out to start the 10th.
Matt had a great tournament today, finishing 4th. Nothing to sneeze at.
And Brockett marks in the 10th. He's got 1 roll left. Brockett finishing and now Coco with a 9.
Now he just went to another ball, which was very smart to do, you know. The match is won. You have 1 more match to bowl for the finals. Let me throw another ball, see how it reacts.
So Thomas Coco, Jr., 245 to 205 over Matt Brockett. And Coco has advanced to the final. As Don mentioned, a wonderful tournament for Matt Brockett, making it to the semifinals. Coco now will have a chance to rest, relax, and scout a little bit Our second semifinal coming up in just a moment. This is the Laurel Lanes Open, the New England Bowling Association. And you're watching all of the action right here on CPTV Sports.